committed to helping nonprofits during this crisis by supporting them remotely with their U.S.-based accounting staff. More at yptc.com. From the History Channel, with the premiere of 2 documentary series, The Food That Built America and The Titans That Built America, this Memorial Day beginning at 8, 7 Central on the History Channel. And from Americans for the Arts.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Elsa Chang in Los Angeles.
And I'm Ari Shapiro in Washington. San Jose, California is in mourning after a shooting yesterday at a local transit facility. 10 people, including the gunman, are dead. All were employees of the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority. Michael Joseph Rudimetkin was one of the victims, and his close friend, City Council member Raul Perales, joins us now. Welcome, and my condolences on your loss.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Will you begin by just telling us a little bit about your friend who died yesterday?
Yeah, obviously, difficult time right now. It's still in shock and disbelief. Mike was a tremendous human being. He was someone that was literally friends with everybody. We've known each other since middle school, and in the outpouring of just support from people that have known him since elementary, even right in middle and high school, and all through the years. It's the common theme that people are just pouring out, saying on honestly how great of a person he was, how he got along with everybody. He stuck up for people. He didn't have that, those clique groups growing up. He really was a tremendous human being, outgoing, always willing to help others, and was a close friend of mine and my family's.
Is there a specific memory of him that you've been returning to in the last day or so?
So many, honestly. I was hanging out with, his parents and sister this morning, and then with his wife in a group of friends that we've been friends since middle school last night. And just reminiscing around, all the memories through the years, sharing some laughs, tears, literally, countless memories of us. We played football together in high school. We shared, side-by-side lockers, and played ball for 4 years together. And obviously just all throughout the years, attending each other's weddings and being there for, birthday celebrations, getting the friends group from back in the day back together every year for the holidays, and up until the latest he actually hung out with my dad more than I did lately, doing golfing, and we were just planning that. We were just planning a golf little reunion, obviously after a year of COVID here. We were planning to get together for another golf trip over the next couple weeks here.
I know you posted on Facebook about the many families in San Jose that are in mourning right now. Have you reached out to other folks who lost loved ones?
Yeah, I was able to, be there both in my capacity as a council member and a BTA board member, and then obviously personally with, Michael's family yesterday. And in that time was also able to speak with some of the other families of the victims. And actually at that point, we were still waiting, final word. And so there was just a lot of suspense and anxiety, including, myself sharing in that. It was an agonizing time to sort of just be waiting on, the status of your loved one. And so I was able to be with those families at that point. And then I was there when, shortly after the families were notified, and I was actually with Michael's family.
You know the city of San Jose well as somebody who was born and raised there, in addition to being a city council member. How is the city broadly doing today?
I would say, obviously this is reverberating right throughout the country and in the world, as sometimes, we know that these incidents that happen all far too often now, but they still do impact everybody tremendously, especially the local community. And, because it's not right, myself, right, just myself. There's so many people now here that likely, were friends, family, loved one, co-worker with these 9 individuals that now are dead, and so that's just reverberating throughout the whole entire city of San Jose, and we've had an outpouring of tremendous support.
That's San Jose, California City Council member Raul Perales. Thank you for speaking with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You might not know it, but this is the sound of a hotly debated issue in Florida.
Hazard lights and whether to use them when you're driving in the rain. Here's Tampa Bay Times reporter Lawrence Maurer.
You know, should you do it? Are you allowed to do it or not? If you just do a Google search for hazard lights in the rain in Florida, you'll see story after story about, people and articles saying, no, this is illegal.
The law there currently says you are not allowed to use your hazards while your car is in motion unless you're in a funeral procession.
But tucked discreetly into a 38-page transportation bill are 2 lines that will change that. If the governor signs the bill very soon, Floridians will be able to throw on those flashers with verve.
As long as they're on a road with a posted speed limit of 55 miles per hour or higher and visibility is extremely low.
Now, it's true, many in Florida already do this. Maurer says that's why Republican State Senator Ed Hooper backed the measure.
He said, we've all been in this situation where we got the death grip on the wheel and we're driving 30 miles an hour down the highway, can't see left or right in front of us or behind us. And he said that he's used his hazard lights in those situations, even though you're not supposed to.
But not everyone is happy.
Matt Wilhite is the Democratic state representative from the 86th district, and he opposes the change.
They don't give you more visibility. They just make you feel better because you think that there's a low visibility on the freeway. And so I don't think I think in a sense they're giving some people some false sense of security that it's helping them as well. I think it's putting them at more risk.
And there may be something to that argument. Last year, 6 people were injured in a 3-car pileup that may have been due to a driver with hazards on, according to Florida Highway Patrol. They said the flashing lights can distract other drivers, obscure brake lights, and override turn signals.
Lawrence Maurer, the Tampa Bay Times reporter, isn't predicting a lot will change with the new law.
There's other states that allow the use of hazard lights. I don't know if it's going to be a huge difference for the practical driver in Florida, but I do think that, this is a very popular topic of conversation.
The law is slated to go into effect July 1st.
I'm going to hazard a guess, though, Ari, that Floridians will keep doing what they are doing and keep on arguing about it.
Texas lawmakers are taking steps to protect the state's energy infrastructure from a cold freeze. Critics say they're not going far enough to prevent another disaster. Tune in to Morning Edition tomorrow to hear that story and all the day's news. You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News. Netflix's Italian language series Zero is a milestone. Italy's first show with a mostly black cast. Zero is a superhero fantasy meets coming-of-age story about young second-generation Italians. NPR's Sylvia Poggioli reports.
Fino a pochi giorni fa ero come l'uomo invisibile.
Zero is the nickname of the lead character Omar, a young black Italian delivery man. Like many people of color, he's more or less ignored by the white society around him. But his metaphorical invisibility soon turns into a magical power when Omar discovers he can actually make himself invisible. And he becomes a superhero who helps save his neighborhood from gentrification by greedy investors. Released in April, the series was written by Antonio Di Chele Di Stefano, a 28-year-old who has authored 6 novels. Born in Italy to Angolan parents, Di Stefano says his aim was not to write an anti-racism manifesto.
E cercare di far capire.
I wanted to use the emotions that we all share. It's laughter and tears that unite us, not the color of our skin or having the same opinions.
The series was shot in Milan, not just its elegant city center, but mostly its gritty working-class outskirts, home to many of Italy's growing migrant communities.
We are looking for stories that create empathy and emotion, and in order to do that, our story needs to be authentic and at the same time universal.
Ilaria Castiglioni is Netflix's manager for Italian series. She says the author knows how to convey the universal sense of insecurity and invisibility in coming-of-age stories.
Antonio has a strong voice, plus he has the second-generation experience, which is very unique.
An experience highlighted by the series' musical score. Starting with zero money, raps Marracash, one of Italy's top stars of the genre. The series score and dialogue, peppered with the slang of second-generation youth, marks a breakthrough in Italy's usual TV fare. Netflix doesn't provide ratings, but reviews have been good, and the series is being hailed for opening up new roles for black actors who'd been relegated to stereotypes. Angelica Pizzarini is a sociologist of Eritrean and Somali origin who specializes in issues of race, colonialism, and gender identity.
Many actresses complained about the fact that it's been tough to be prostitutes or to be dealers' partners or refugees coming with a boat.
Much of what's on Italian TV is even worse. Comedy teams using racial slurs and making slanty-eyed gestures to satirize political correctness, or the use of blackface in variety shows. Pizzarini says the series Zero finally provides role models for young black Italians who don't see their worlds reflected in most mass entertainment.
This is so important for the kids and teenagers that will see this series and they will see that a black man, young black man, can be a superhero.
Italian Netflix manager Castiglioni says the company's goal is mostly to entertain.
And if we create good entertainment that creates a debate, that's a plus, a conversation that sparks, because it means that with our show, we hit the zeitgeist.
The Zeitgeist, a second-generation teen drama against a superhero backdrop, ends with a cliffhanger. But it's too soon, says Castiglioni, to announce if a second season is in the works. Silvia Poggioli, NPR News, Rome.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News.
On the next Fresh Air, New York Times reporter Nick Corasaniti talks about new voting laws proposed in Republican-controlled legislatures to restrict voting rights, limit ballot initiatives which could undermine Republican goals, and stiffen penalties for poll workers and election officials who make even minor mistakes. Join us.
Weekdays from 11 a.m. to noon and from 6 to 7 p.m. on Troy Public Radio.
Support comes from Troy University's Trojan Cafe, offering a variety of Starbucks beverages and an assortment of sandwiches, soups, and pastries, located on Troy University's Montgomery campus, across from the Rosa Parks Library and Museum.
Support comes from the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts, presenting the 44th Montgomery Art Guild Museum exhibition, comprising works by River Region artists responding to issues of the past year. On view now through August 1st. More information at mmfa.org.
Ari Shapiro.
And I'm Elsa Chang. Rock, pop, punk, and fun. These are some of the flavors Japanese band Chai captures in their genre-fluid music. This quartet has been making waves here in the U.S. since their first album came out 4 years ago. Chai's songs are playful, but they're also political at times. At its core, their music is about challenging traditional notions of feminine beauty. Last week, Chai released their latest studio album called Wink, and I spoke to two members of the band, lead vocalist and keyboard player Mana, and bassist Yuki. We began our conversation by talking about this Japanese concept of cuteness called kawaii. It's an idea that fuels a multi-billion-dollar industry in Japan. Here's Mana.
Kawaii typically means having features like large, round eyes, a pointing nose, a slim face, beautiful hair, fair skin, and being thin. Western features in a sense. You see lots of those people on the covers of magazines and in Japanese media, so girls try to look like them. That is changing a little by little, but everybody aspires to be like them.
Yeah. Well, when you were growing up, did either of you feel like you fit in to this idea of kawaii?
I grew up not fitting into the idea of kawaii to the point that it would piss me off. It made me angry. Boys have actually said to my face that I wasn't attractive or that my eyes are too small. But that's what music did for me. Music was my outlet. These kind of experiences of not being considered kawaii, that is what let us make music unique to us. Only we can make this music.
Well, I totally relate to that, not looking cute in the traditional Asian way. How about you, Yuki, when you were growing up? Did you feel like you fit in with kawaii, the concept of kawaii?
Yeah, so I'm the same as Mana. Growing up, I didn't fit into the definition of what kawaii is, at least how Japan defines it. But I actually remember wanting to be like the people I would see on TV who did fit into kawaii. At one point, I asked myself why I admired those people, and I eventually stopped caring about it. And I realized that as soon as I stopped caring, people would naturally tell me I was cute. And I thought, this is interesting.
Naturally.
Yes, like I was told that jet black hair was part of Asian identity, but now I don't even think about that.
Yeah.
I do what I want. Like I dyed my hair blonde.
I see that. I lighten my hair too out here in California.
Yeah, we're the same. We're the same.
I know subverted kawaii by turning it into a new concept in your music, a concept called neo kawaii. Tell me what neo kawaii is.
Well, with neo kawaii, we are not trying to deny kawaii necessarily, but we are saying that definition or standards that kawaii sets are too narrow. In Japan, the only way to call people other than those considered kawaii are busu, which means ugly. I wanted to give those people a positive message or positive word. Everyone has their own kawaii. So we thought, why don't we call it neo kawaii?
Hear, hear. Well, Yuki, I understand that you wrote the song Maybe Chocolate Chips. You have said that this song is about self-love. I wanna understand what inspired you to write this. What does this song mean to you?
Yeah, so Maybe Chocolate Chips is a song about my moles. Actually, I have a skin type that tends to develop more and more moles over the years, and I know I could get procedures to get rid of them if I wanted. If I spent enough money, it would be like they never existed. But instead of that, I started thinking, why do that? This is what I was born with. These are my chocolate chips. And you know what? Chocolate chips taste really good. What's wrong with that? And that actually turned my mood around. It made me happy about my moles. So just by changing my perspective, I was able to change my feelings too. So then I thought, I've got to tell this to everyone, which is why I wrote the song Maybe Chocolate Chips to this warm and mellow tune. So maybe people could understand the message and feel how I felt.
See, I just wanna see you do what they said you could never undo. My chocolate chip, they can't get a grip. They can't define you with beauty myths. The world is moving, so move with it. Your moles, I will make you whole. Rather on your back.
I love how all of you reject the need to have a certain kind of figure, how you will not be scared of food, because I know, reading about your band, that you and I share a very common passion. We all love to eat, and I love how you embrace food in your music. Tell me about the song Donuts Mind If I Do.
Don't mind if I do. この曲は Donuts Mind If I Do っていうまず言葉を
Yeah, so this is Yuki again. So I learned this phrase, donuts mind if I do, when we were on tour in the US. And in the hotel lobby, there was a sign that said free donuts. And then we also saw the sign written as donuts mind if I do. And I thought it was such a funny and cool pun with a sense of humor, but at the same time, it made me feel warm inside. And on top of that, we love to eat because eating is directly related to how you live. And that's the theme of the song. You know, I think it's a bit sad to suppress what you love, like by going on a diet, for example. So this song is really about, you know, no matter how old you get, you should live your life prioritizing the things you love. And that could be a donut. So that's what I put in this song.
この曲に載せました。
I love that. Well, tell me why you call this new album Wink. What does a wink mean to you?
I really love to wink and also love to